Everybody, welcome to Lethal Sales, the first one of 2025. Happy New Year, everybody. We're so glad you're here. We're going to be talking tonight about a quick recap of 2024 because it's behind us now, and what we think is going to happen in 2025, both in terms of market predictions and our hopes and dreams. So we're going to start with Wendy.
That's terrible.
Love you,
I
Wen.
think take away the opening spot from Peter. Peter, you wanted to start, didn't you?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
usually it's usually Larry and Peter first, so we got time to warm up and think about what we're going to say.
No, put me in a hot seat
Impromptu.
today.
all right.
Okay.
We'll let Peter start. Next
Yeah,
time,
there.
Wendy, be prepared.
Because Larry's multitasking right now, as we can see. So, having said that, 2024, it was a year, wasn't it? It was a year that at the beginning, going to NADA, everyone talking about what was going to happen, the downturn of the market, the increase of inventory, the upswing of interest rates, everything that was going bad in the car business. It was swirling, swirling, swirling. It looked like someone actually just went over to the toilet bowl and flushed it and watched the car business go down the tubes. Then what happened? June, CDK, boom, explosion. Took down 15,000 dealerships, put them out of business. People were scrambling. But guess what? The car business showed what it was capable of, just like it did in what was about April, April 2020, that they're a resilient bunch. They band together. They figure it out. They pivot. They look. They pivot. They look. They pivot. They do it as many times as necessary to get the job done. And from the end of that, which was mid July, I don't think I heard negativity in the car business. Heard some, but it wasn't a topic that it was in January, February, March. There was some negativity, but people had said, you know what? It's time to pull up our bootstraps and let's get going. Coming into 2025, I've seen more positivity this year than I have in the last 4 years. I've seen people actually embrace things that they would never ever embrace in their time before. How many people are out there using chat gpt to actually engage themselves in their businesses today? That wasn't around. It came out in January 23rd 3. We were all at NADA in Dallas, and that was the topic running around the floor was, hey, have you heard of this chat gpt thing? It's pretty incredible. It's this AI stuff. Now almost every single platform out there has AI. So going into 2025, my predictors are that the industry is going to have a massive changeover. The first thing that they're going to have a massive changeover is in staffing. You're going to see a number of staffing changes, and more importantly, you will be seeing additions of jobs. I had a conversation today where the person said specifically that the larger corporations have these CIOs, the corporate intelligence officers, that they are going to be looking at the platforms. You're going to see that trickle down effect hit the small and medium sized groups. You're going to see that actually engage into the smaller groups or the single point stores where the GM, the dealer principal, does not have it. They will just farm it out. They will look for a segmented or fractional CIO. The second prediction I'm going to see is you're going to see a leveling out of inventory. You're going to see guys like Toyota and Honda and Lexus increase their inventory. You're going to see guys like Chrysler and GM and Ford and everyone else decrease their inventory. They're going to level it out, and it's going to become back to a stable, more stabilized market. And the last prediction that I have is an unfortunate one, and I've been in a lot of forums and threads and this about is the EV market. It's going to start crumbling. And when I say crumbling, it's going to be fractured at first, and then the wall is going to start coming down because come January, the rebates are going to be pulled. I can see the writing on the wall. They were pulled in Canada about 4 months ago, and there's in the one of the largest provinces for EVs, they have turned around and pulled all government funding towards them. So it's going to be a sink or swim. And right now, the legacy OEMs cannot compete with the Chinese. The Chinese own over 70% of the critical earths. They own about 80% of the technology, and they have the production capability. That's why they're at 34% of the car market globally right now. They pushed the EV market. They grasped the EV market. Now you look at all the legacies that have all reported horrific last quarters of the year. Their margins are down significantly. Every single German manufacturer has lost over 70% in the last reported quarter. That's because the Chinese are eating their lunch, and they've put them in a position that's unattainable. You have companies like Rivian, it's costing, or Lucid, it's costing $300,000 per every single car that they produce. How long is that sustainable? It's not. So you're going to see that come the come to Jesus moment where it's going to be migrating back, and because we all know how many charging points were built in the last 3 years, Russell.
Uh,
Three.
yeah, I thought it was two, but
I thought it was
maybe it's
7.
more like 12 now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyways, it's $700 billion that they put out to it, and they can't do it.
Don't even get me started, but I'm going to get started. Can I interrupt you real
Yeah,
quick?
you can quote Landman.
So, huh?
You can quote Landman. He
So
kind of
yeah,
looks
there you go.
like
So
like the star on it.
the positive upswing only happened in the last few months because of the election. That's what I think. I think it was pretty damn negative until then, and everybody, it's like the light got turned on. There's globally, yeah, this we got to stop the Chinese from getting their cars in here. That ain't going to happen. And the mineral rights, and I mean, there's just so many things that I think that it adds to this overall positivity thing. Let's see how it happens at the end of the month here. But yeah, it's we're very resilient, aren't we? And a lot of great things happen, and a lot of not so great things happen. Like one right now, if anybody knows anybody that's in the LA area, Palisades, etc., that's devastating. I can't even imagine how just it's horrific. I mean, and I'm sure it's going to be blamed on climate control, no doubt. But anyway, um,
Well,
I thought it was a
I'll just
peaceful
add,
protest.
I'll add one thing to that, Russell. That I'd like to hear your answer on it. There's five main revenue sources in a dealership: new, used, F&I, parts, and service. What do you predict is going to be the greatest trending revenue stream in the dealership? Meaning, what's going to have the greatest profitability increase in 2025?
well, I think it's going to be because now obviously I'm a little biased, but there's no doubt it's fixed operations, and let me tell you why it's fixed operations. Um, so about 2 months ago, we know what Chrysler's going through, right? It's just devastating. They're going to rebound, etc. But they have failed so bad that the corporate offices, Stellantis, Mopar, reached out to us to look at our technology. They are fast tracking our technology. They got 2,400 stores. I don't think we're going to be a tier one, maybe tier two, but if not, doesn't really make any difference. But they know that all they're talking about is fixed operations. That's their greatest opportunity for for turning things around. And I hear it from a lot of it. So we have the repeat referral retention, but we have all these wonderful new things about transparency and taking a lot of this back from the independents and from the time they drive across the threshold to how you displace pricing to the video MPI to gain their trust back. But I mean, right now, nationally, 60% of the net revenue comes from fixed operations. That's the greatest opportunity for money. Do you agree, Peter? Or
So I agree that in one aspect of it, I think personally, I think fixed operations will be the savior of the dealership. Any dealership that's in trouble, if they can tighten up their fixed operations, that will save their dealership from trouble.
well, I got to interject one thing. In order for them to do that, they really got to go to the people that got their arms around and understand how that works. Now, I know one person in here personally that would be the go-to guy for not only variable but fixed, and that would be Mr. Tony Thorstead. That guy's got it dialed in. I'm going to tell you what, they got it dialed in. Turned their used car inventory almost 3 times in a month. Come on. It's merchandise and ready to go, or it's not on the lot. I mean, come on. They
Yeah.
offer the same pricing online or in person. Come on, and yeah, Tony, you rock, man. Your store rocks. Your organization. That's why the 29 additional stores of the Baxter Automotive Group, who recently purchased you this last year, that's why you're the go-to. A lot of pressure. I get it, but you know what? You can handle it.
I'm having a blast. It's great to see what's going on not only at our store but within our dealer group, and we're figuring out the 70 cents on the dollar part of service, and we're figuring out in a big way, and we'll get to 82. We'll get there, and when we do 82 cents on the dollar on 6,000 ROs out of my store, cha-ching!
I mean,
That's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you right there. So I'll just go back to where I was going to land this plane. So I believe that fixed is going to be the savior of the dealership, but the greatest area of increase will be
AI.
pre-owned cars.
Pre-owned. Yeah,
Oh.
it is. They're finally starting to understand why gas stations sell gas and cigarettes.
Yeah.
And the automotive industry should have figured it out a long time ago. There's no money in the sale of a car. All the money is in putting it on the lot, whether it's new or used, and getting it gone quickly. That's where the money's at.
Control the controllables, right, Tony?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The quicker, at our store, we're one price, new, used. We've been it for a couple of years. Everybody pays the same price. The faster you can get them to do this with their head on the purchase of the car, the more opportunity you're going to have on the back end up front. And so you got to get them to say, yes, I want the car, moving from their head to the heart very quickly, and then put them in the box, if you will. We don't have a box anymore because it's a one-touch store, but you get my point. And make sure that they're getting the coverages they need to have a great ownership experience. And so we're proving it on the front end. We're proving it on the back end. The front end's a little sketchy, but that's the way it's going to be. And then the service department's just having a heyday.
Don't you think that AI is going to play an important role?
I do, but
Parts distribution, availability, obsolescence, on and on and on. Communicating with the customer, not that it's time for their 30K when they just did their 60K 2 days later when they roll out. I'm talking about AI. I'm talking about the real thing. Yeah. Do you think that it?
Yeah, I do, and I don't think it's going to be in the hands of the sales teams. I think you're going to see the sales teams. Forgive me for saying this, but less experience and paid less money, and let the AI do all the heavy lifting. I don't think it's sustainable on the front end to be paying salespeople who sell 15 cars a month, 6 figures. I don't think that's sustainable, and that'll go away. I mean, it came on during COVID, and it's slowly going away. And these veterans that have been out there for years and years and years, they're seeing the writing on the wall, unfortunately. But
Well, Tony, I got to tell you,
you know,
you were on mute that whole time. I don't think anybody heard you. Okay, I'm just kidding.
oh man, I'm sorry. No, yeah, thank you. The salespeople did it to themselves, and I was a sales consultant for 20 years. I sold cars, and the vast majority of salespeople did it to themselves. They want to get paid a lot to do very little, and that's hurting them, and they're getting mad about it. They don't want
But
to do anything, and they're getting mad about it.
but Tony, would you not agree that we've positioned them to that mindset?
Yep.
Because we
Yep.
we we have long since told them that they're commissioned sales reps so that they work for themselves. Basically, they create their own economy. They do this, they do that, whatever. They work, they have a business within a business. So if you're going to pay them on that premise, you can't, when they come back and say, hey, you know what, you don't pay me to sit there and pound phones, you don't pay me to clean the snow off cars, you don't pay me to do this, you pay me to sell cars. And in doing so, you also, under our agreement, you provide me with the leads. You're not doing that.
Yeah, but
And
you know that, Peter, you and I both know this. Nobody took the job because they wanted to start a business in a business. They're in a
correct,
salesperson on the show. We tried to convince them of that over
right,
time, and we treated them like they were running a business. They didn't take the job to run a business. And then we
exactly.
told them, oh, you got a business within a business. You can make, the world's your oyster. But guess
Yep.
what? We turned them into a bunch of pansies. Sorry. They don't want to
No,
work for it.
hey, 43 years of doing this. Yes, I
Mhm.
understand that.
Yeah.
I've dragged my klunkles along the ground for far too long. So I do understand
Let me
what you're
see your knuckles.
saying.
Okay.
There's a few scars on them, Russell. There the whole premise here is that we've also destroyed what this business was. The business was, and you, Russell, you saw the picture of you on the Grand National. When you were on the Grand National, were you someone's car person? They came to you because you were their guy.
Yeah.
Well, I was only about 6 months into it by then, so I didn't have any of those.
Okay, but in that time period, I remember in the 80s, I had people coming to me because I was their rep. I was the guy that they bought their cars off of. They bought
Hmm.
2, 3 cars off me, their husband, the wife, the kids,
Yep.
their business partners, their real estate, their agencies. They all came to me because they said, "Holy shit, look at this guy. This guy's doing it differently. He did this." And that's how the Ali Rettas, that's how the
Yep.
Joe Gerards, that's how all these guys became superstars because they did it differently. They created a relationship and they did it. We moved with the advent of this stupid little machine to a situation where it went to transactional selling over relational selling. And with that, we look for instantaneous gratification because I can be sitting in front of you and getting 3 quotes for the same car right in front of me at the same time and saying, hey, you know what? You're not even close to what I can get. What are you going to do? They're not building value. They're not building relationships. Had a conversation with Matthew last year, myself, and another guy who was online saying, "Hey, I raked the Acura dealer over the coals by 10 grand off of my new MDX, and I got them to throw in another $6,000 worth of accessories on my deal. You should listen to me." And that's what we're promoting. That's what we're promoting. We're promoting, and I've said this many times. And Rhonda, you can get that swear jar out because here it comes. I've
I
said,
got one for you, Peter.
I've said so many times, people have their heads so far up their asses they wear it like a hat, and I call them ass hats. So there you go. Thank you, Rhonda. You're on your way to your second Bentley. The going through it, people don't understand the power of relationships. They don't understand it. They don't get it. They don't look at long-term customer value. And they say, well, customers don't have loyalty. Well, you haven't given them an excuse to have loyalty yet. All you've done is you've treated them piss poorly. You've oversold them in the service department. You've done this. You turn around and you advise them on certain things. And like Dave Foyd said today about video MPIs, why are we doing video MPIs? It's only to protect us as the dealer to do this, and it's
Yeah.
why would you do it? Would you go to a restaurant and ask the chef to do a video of him making the meal? No, you don't.
Wait a minute. That Peter, that stuff worked for Emerald.
Yeah, it worked for Ramsey too. So
Listen,
but,
you kind of read my mind early, Peter, and it's funny because we didn't talk about this prior, but I see that we're going to see very strong shifts towards used cars into fixed operations for the most obvious of reasons, because the twists and turns with the manufacturers, not even to mention the problems that Chrysler's having, and what's going on with Nissan. But I think we'll see people dial back into those things. And Russell, you and Peter asked you earlier about the charging stations. But after 4 years of what we've just had, the liberals will brag about that. They'll say we had 2, now we have 3. So we've had a 50% increase in the charging stations.
You're right. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that demented perspective. Hey, listen, we're almost halfway through the show. I'd love to hear from everybody else. We got a little heated and passionate, but
I got a
what
jet.
is everybody? We got
well,
you got to roll.
Tony. Appreciate your
Tony,
time.
Good
thank
night,
you.
guys.
Night.
Yep. See you
Stay
again.
healthy. And
You bet.
stay healthy.
Bye, Tony.
Yep. I'd love to hear from Jason, my buddy Gary Silman, obviously from Mr. Larkin, and definitely from Jeff Shearer. Who wants to jump in first and tell us what your crystal ball's telling you? And by the way, we were really accurate last year. Rhonda played the show back, and you wouldn't believe how on the money we were with everything.
If it's all right with everyone else, I'd love to go first, as I got a dinner that I'm about to go into. But unless there's an objection.
No,
Go ahead, brother.
no, we'll let the slow people go first.
Oh God, again.
You're probably wearing a sweater too.
No, I'm not. I'm actually wearing a black button-up shirt.
That's why you have the camera off. You don't want to show us your
No,
sweater.
no. Hold on. Now you got me. Now you got okay. So I'm actually driving seatbelt, and I have no sweater on. It's a black.
It's underneath the jacket. I can
button
see
up.
it.
I don't even have
It's a red sweater.
I also predict, Jason, for 2025 that Peter Smith will continue with his wool obsession. Very sad.
I think he will, but I think Peter is right. I think Russell's right. We have fixed ops is going to be a very huge part of it. One, I think for different reasons than what you guys are talking about with used cars. I do think there's going to be a big used car push, and there's going to be used car inventory. There's going to be massive sales volume increases with used cars. And I'm not just saying that because I'm the pre-owned manager, but I feel fixed ops is going to be dealing with the quality problems that we have had since COVID. In fact, we weren't able to source proper materials, so the parts were not made, in my opinion, to the standards of which they should have been. We have issues with parts failing at a certain amount of miles, and it's becoming a routine thing with a lot of different manufacturers. They're going to have to resource these things, resource these companies that made these parts, because when COVID went on, many of these places shut down. The technology was sold from one to another to another. Things got lost. Parts got mismanufactured. And it's coming back to full circle, and it's rearing its ugly head right now.
Hey, can I add on to what you just said, Jason?
Sure.
I don't disagree with you, but I think the other thing is, I think we'll all agree, anytime business gets easy and then it gets hard, we tend to get a little introspective. Oh my God, what do we have to do, and how do we have to get back? And I think everybody will agree that dealers have a horrible blind spot when they're all, frantic about not having enough retention, but most of them don't acknowledge that the leakage comes from fixed ops. That people go to a tire store, they go for an oil change, and that's how we lose them. So I think I think it's just going to simply be, man, people aren't walking in. There's 4 cars on the lot. It's 10,000 over. And a lot of the salespeople have forgotten how to sell. So I think we're going to have to figure out a way to retain business. And there is no better way to retain business and make profits consistently than fixed operations. It's really not a debate. So I think when you combine that with the fact of, you're right, maybe a lack of quality and some of the fallout from COVID and mismanufacturing. But I think it's just going to be, they're going to wake up and go, what the hell are we going to do now? And that's why I think fixed ops and used cars. Plus, look how much profit there is in used cars, not only to the public, but when you put these cars through the shop and you're fast about it, and you have that internal profit.
No, absolutely. And I think to what Peter was talking about earlier, the job within the job, the salespeople today, yeah, it's all talked about a job within the job, but do they know how to take care of their own business? Running your own business inside of a business requires work, requires effort. Yeah, I get the point of, okay, I don't get paid to move cars and stuff like that. That's a snob mentality, in my opinion. I've always hustled, moved cars, and picked up cigarette butts, this, that, and the other thing. But if you're running your own business and you walked outside of your own front door and there was trash down there, would you pick it up?
But that's the fallacy, Jason.
Correct.
Instead of embracing that it's truly their business within somebody else's with no debt service, the people that act like everything's an annoyance and that's not my job will never really be the really successful people.
Correct.
Because you really want to, I love to say to salesmen, and I'm not the guy that invented the concept, is if you own this place, would you approve of what you did this morning or what you did yesterday? Once we embrace that, the whole dynamic changes.
Right. And I think we know we created the problem because we became one transactional, became very focused on the numbers. What have you done for me lately? Kind of an attitude. And we have let go people that we normally might have kept if we'd just coached them a little bit, but we chose not to.
Wait a minute. Jason, being a recruiter, I constantly encourage letting people go. Fire them all. It's Larry Feldman.
I know you.
1-800-HIRE.
I know you do. But I think that if we had really taken a look at the personnel that we were letting go, was it really necessary? Could we have educated them? Could we have embraced them and held them and made them better than what they were? Or do we just cut them loose? And that's
it gets uglier. Jay, all kidding aside, I'm pretty reasonable in my charges. I'm cheaper than most headhunters, but it's still astronomically expensive to lose somebody and then replace them.
Yes,
not to mention all the things you lose in the crossfire.
Agreed. And one of those things is loyalty as what is required to be successful in this business and to continue what we've lost or to make back what we've lost is that person, that familiar face, that friendly smile when you walk in the door that knows that Susie coming in to get her tire plugged or whatever it would be. Those are the people that we've lost and why the business has gone to the wayside simply because we don't have those things. We gave them up. You can't
get loyalty if you don't give it, Jason.
Correct.
Hey, speaking of loyalty, because I know you got to go munch on some French fries, I got my new best loyal friend, Gary Silman, on the line. Gary, what do you see for 2025, my friend?
Be a lot of money.
He's a minimalist. I like that. Make a lot of money. Short and sweet. Hard to argue with that.
Can I open up my video? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, good. I'm trying. I don't know how to use these things, so I'm still bumbling around. Michael Larkin's going to have to teach me.
Oh, you're in trouble now.
Elon's on the phone to him daily.
I after I'm done with him, I get all the good information. What I see, and we're in the middle of building it. Well, it's the world has changed, and I am so excited to work with my friend Larry Feldman and Mike Larkin, because what the dealers need is us. And what they need is to understand that there has to be a digital process, end to end. And that we, Michael and I, have just solved the last piece. We've been using menus for a long time. We've been selling used cars for a long time. We know compliance for a long time. We've been starting the deal in the wrong place. The government has told the dealers they are responsible to verify the identity of the customer. And why don't we do red flags on every customer before we even talk about numbers? So the digital platform today and the AI that Russell talks about is very, very good. Because I've been doing F&I for 30 years, and the AI teaches the uneducated, the non-cooperative, the unloyal, how to do it correctly. Because when it's in a digital platform, there's managers that are managing their children. And you can't go from point A to B. So we've been talking about this for 30 years, 20 years. We all know to build a house, you have to have a level foundation. You've got F&I guys that are using menus, other guys aren't. You need to have the same message from the cell phone online, inside the showroom, with the same process, like all the experts are saying, meet the customer for where they want to go. They want the full journey, give them the full journey. They want to negotiate, negotiate. But you need it all under one umbrella. It all has to sit there, and then use whatever menu, whatever service, whatever. And that's where everybody is spinning around. It's like poltergeist. The customer is in charge. You need to use their cell phone to take their picture of their driver's license and then send it into the dealer's email. Or the dealer provides, there's multiple companies now that provide a QR code. Scan your QR code, verify your telephone number, text, email, and now enter into a secure system. We all know what secure systems do. Negotiate, figure out the trade, who cares? Now you do a standard F&I menu presentation with accepts and declines, and you hand that consumer back. So you definitely want to remove the people. And where I'm at is you harness AI. If you don't harness AI, we will utilize AI to replace you because we know they can do a better job. So that's my explanation. It's going to be wonderful because they're going to sell used cars. The customers are going to be able to buy the car off their phone. They're going to be able to verify their identity and their insurance off of the phone. And the dealers are going to be heroes now when the consumer doesn't have these things and they need help. And
hey, wait a minute. Hey, Garrett, you know what's funny? You just tied in with what we were talking about earlier. Because you can buy the car over the phone. You can make it. Our buddy Doug Reeves always talks about, frictionless.
You can do all the whole transaction.
Yeah, but you know what you can't do without coming into the dealership? Service. So you can see how even what you're saying still dials back into fixed operations because we still need them to come in. And it's not like they're going to get instructions over the internet and fix their own car. So you can see even what you're saying dials in.
Well, it's unfortunately what we've been doing is band-aiding because the sales guys hate the service guys. The service guys hate the sales guys, and then they don't know how to do it. And really, the service guys are saying, get these ass wipes out of our way because once we get the customer, we'll teach them. We'll do a good job.
Hold on. I can see Jeff Shearer's intrigued. So we heard ass wipes and ass hats. You didn't realize there'd be this many colorful descriptions of a derriere tonight, did you, Jeff?
But
kind of like the after holiday show.
But Larry, at the end of the day, if you don't have leadership by dealers that get it, and managers that want to deliver it, and you're letting the inmates run the asylum, you ain't going anywhere. You ain't going anywhere.
Let's close on that note, because what you just said, I agree with 100%. Mr. Shearer, man, you know I always live and die by your opinion. What do you see for 2025, my friend?
Well, I want to kind of piggyback on a couple things Gary said. So, harnessing AI, 110%. However, putting more of the control back and actually giving them the control back to the consumer, I think erodes the loyalty because what do I need the dealer for? I don't need to go talk to Larry anymore. I can do this right here at midnight if I want to, right? So I think there's a little bit of a two ends pulling on the rope there.
Wait a minute, Jeff. No AI system could abuse a customer the way I can.
I'm building something I'm going to share with you.
But Jeff, and I'm going back just to let, and then I'll let you move on. Is that there are dealers that are very, very proud of their service facilities, and that they do 110-point safety inspections, and they go through their cars, and they want, and so it's winning them. We've lost, and as everyone's saying, we've lost the salesperson that wins them and hugs them. Okay. We used to, now for the last 10 or 15 years, the good service managers said, hey, I'm sorry of what happened up front, but now I'll take care of you back here. So service, they've been doing it. Now it's waking the front end up and saying, hey, look, service has carried you. You guys got to get your shit together because they love us back here. Make it easier for them. That's all that I'm saying. But
we're with you 100%, Garrett. Mr. Larkin, what are your thoughts on 2025, my friend?
Well, I cut off Jeff, so let Jeff finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, so I hope, and this is not really a prediction more than it is a hope, but that fixed gets more attention, gets part of the advertising budget because, man, it hasn't changed as long as any of us have been in the business, right? It's still the back of the house, and I don't know that that's going to change, and I hope it does because just for the reasons you said, all the things Peter started with, the front end of the store probably is going to take it in the shorts, more this year because of a lot of things Peter said. And, so are we going to wait till that happens and then say, what do we do? Or get in front of it, man.
Jeff, you got to keep in mind, though, that dealers tend to be reactive rather than proactive.
Totally. And so as a guy, Gary, you don't know me that well, but makes his living with AI. I'm respectful and I want everybody to use it, but in the right way. Just what you said, harness it. It's not going to solve every problem in the dealership, but, we're building some pretty cool things to do away with voicemail. That's my goal for 2025, my person.
Yeah, but Jeff, I'm not kissing your butt. I'm just telling the truth.
There's reason that reference again.
There we go. The reason you come across so well is you always sound smart, but you never sound nerdy. A lot of times when guys talk about AI or technical things, guys like me fall asleep. It's like, what the hell are you talking? With you, you come across. Wendy jumped off on us because her leg was bothering her, but Wendy has a show. Peter's involved in it. April Simmons, Martha, called The Human Side of AI. And if we don't combine the pieces, have to be both involved. The reason you get along so well with everybody, Jeff, is you come across as a very human guy that embraces the technology. I think if all you're doing is embracing the technology and you're not friendly and warm and welcoming, you're dead. And if you're the friendliest, most welcoming guy on earth, but you can't embrace technology, you're going to get left in the dust because the world is moving at an incredibly rapid pace. Don't you think so, Peter?
Oh, absolutely. Again, I always refer back to the relationship model, and that is where all our challenges are going to be. If we cannot maintain relationships, can maintain the human experience, it doesn't matter what AI can do because it's still people dealing with people. How many times do we sign on and we sign on to a website and we want to get information, i.e., I think the last one was I was dealing with Southwest for the flight to Louisiana, and signed on to their chat, and it says chat bot. It does not say a person's name. It where it used to say, "Oh, you're talking to Susan." Well, Susan doesn't exist.
Our elite Draco team works along. What's up, guys? These are my top pick mesh systems for 20.
Okay. Where's that voice?
Don't know.
Don't know. Anyways, so the chat bot tells you it's a chat bot now. And legislation is going to have to be put forth that you know that you're talking to a computer. Because people want to talk to people. They do not want to talk to bots. It doesn't matter how efficient the bot is. People want to talk to people. Now, where AI has its benefits, and I think it has tremendous benefits, is when you use a CDP, a consumer data program, and use AI to augment that to help the individual move forward. So in that scenario, like Jeff and I have had a conversation, I call a restaurant and the restaurant says, "Oh, Mr. Smith, last time you ordered a quarter chicken with this and this, and this. Are you looking to order that same order?" The AI is already bringing that to the attention of the person through recognizing my phone number, my IP address, whatever it is. They're recognizing who I am. It's augmenting the information, because if Susan, the chatbot, says it to me, I'm just going to say no. If Jeff says, "Hey, the last time you called in, this is what you ordered," I'm more likely to up my order because I'm talking to someone and I'm getting empathy. And Larry, you've said it many times. A bot can't give empathy.
Yep.
And that's
Hey, Peter, I love the directions we're going, but we haven't heard from our friend Mr. Larkin, and he looks so handsome in that hat.
Let's go last. I'm not finished speaking.
I got the final slap shot, dude. Hey, between 2024 and 2025, there's a difference, and everybody needs to wrap their head around this. Is 2024 and ages ago, the internet was considered advanced chess. And even the SEO professionals that got the job go, "Okay, we're guessing that Google's going to do this, this, and this." Whether they did it or not, it was a guess. Now with AI coupled with things like keyword research, now we can search where the people are actively looking for your products and your services. Not only that, but we know how to get in front of them really quickly. And I'm not talking 3 months like the SEO guy's been doing for the last 15 years. You're seeing it in a week. Last week to this week, one of my clients had 3,600 visitors to their satellite websites around their website. We added what's called a media channel that makes the content rotate around. And that's where Google's going, "Hey, these guys are experts at this word. Let's put them number one in front of the 2,900 people that are typing in that word each month." So it's become advanced chess in 2024, 2025, and beyond. It's connect the dots and make yourself the picture that you want, because the people are engaging and the businesses are engaging. We're that middle in between that catches the engagement from the audience and connects them to the business and products and services that they want. We're now able to process that. So 2025, like my friend Gary Sullivan said, and Larry, I'm proud to be able to work with you. Here comes the money.
Show me the money, Jerry.
Show me the money.
Hey, Michael, by the way,
Yeah.
Google was searching me on LinkedIn. So Google's checking me out on LinkedIn. So that's another connection.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. And we're watching it happen live. We're watching it happen live.
As it happens.
It's unbelievable.
Hey, we if he can talk, we were talking about fixed ops and how prominent it's going to be. And Russell has about the best program out there to dial in and improve your fixed ops. Russ, can you expand on what you're seeing and which direction you're moving, or are you away from your mic?
Looks like he's under the desk.
No, there he is. He's back.
I'm here. I'm trying to get this figured out. Hold on just a second. What the hell is going on here?
Hey, Jeff, AI is blown me away. I can't even believe it. What it does, I think it teaches me how to do things correctly. I mean, and it forces you on the path. I mean, it keeps you. It just does amazing things with just a small amount of things. I only use it to rewrite things and to help me when I'm researching. But it's in everything that we do now.
Yeah. There he is. There he goes. There he is.
I'm here.
We'll catch up on that.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
No, well, I was just saying, I mean, I'm in for F&I and for compliance in the auto arena, for the compliance requirements and the verifications, because you got to verify identity. So now you have all this fraud. So now you have to use AI to confirm. But then with all of the F&I products in the F&I process that you hear, I don't know how much you know about F&I, but that's been a process that we've been trying to control for 30 years. And now with AI, the stuff that everybody hates, which is compliance, can be done by AI and just respond back that we did the verification, we did the checks and balances, but it still needs a human to manage the process.
Exactly the point, Gary. It's gotta, and Larry said it best, the puzzle pieces have to fit.
There it is.
And the advantage obviously to that is you got consistency. It's like a car wash, man. Every time, same thing, and we're not missing anything.
F&I managers we've been training for 30 years. They sucks when they're in a bad mood. They take advantage of customers. AI can deliver a menu better than any F&I manager we got. I don't care. And they can actually handle the questions back and forth. You should take a look at that Marty Hughes thing. He's got a AI. He listens to the F&I conversation, and then it's amazing. Then he comes back and he says, "Did the F&I manager perform the functions of their jobs?" So that's where now you have X-ray vision in the F&I office that we've been trying to control for 100 years, because those guys are liars. And then those guys are the bandits that create all the freaking problems. And then that's what we've been trying to control. So now that you can control what the hell's going on in there, and the customer's not being charged 5 points of interest and sold fraudulent products that have no business in the conversation, now we got evidence that this guy's a dirtbag, and let the attorneys come in and take him out and put him in jail. So that's where the beauty is, that AI is now infiltrating the F&I, and we need it. I'm sorry.
So Gary, you're telling me I don't need the left-handed wheel nuts?
Dude, the the jig is up. I've been in the business since the 80s, and you are just so dumb if you even consider not using a menu and digital and do all that stuff. But
Let me share a easy practical example. I have a client in Alberta, Canada, that's a tire and service store, and I built a report for him using AI because I'm doing, call management for him.
yep,
So I give him a report at 4:30 every day that has the calls that came in where the customer's need was not met,
yeah,
was not
that's
satisfied.
right. And so somebody can now follow up on that, and it's all
Today,
automated.
today, before
No,
that guy's calling your
instantly.
competitor.
Instantly.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that AI, because now there's no more blocks on the information if you know where to gather it. That's public information. The government wants all the complaints now in digital portals. And if you, a dealer in the United States, doesn't have a complaint platform off of their website, they're in violation with the FTC red flags. Excuse me, safeguards. But see, we've had for the last 20 years dealers just ignoring the federal laws in the United States. So I know that we have Canadian and things like that, but in the United States, the system has clearly been broken. It's been fraudulent, and it's about to be clearly exposed by state AGs. So the Connecticut AG just kicked a couple of dealers out of the state for doing business fraudulently, violating really everything was under UDAP, unfair deceptive acts and practices, which is a federal law now, and that's where all the attorneys and the AGs. All right. So when the dealer's really a jerk and they completely blow off the customer, they can't run and hide, and they're suing and winning with UDAP in court. And so that's winning good. So Connecticut, we don't like bandits. We want good customer service and the customers treated fairly. And when you have dirtbags lying and cheating, we want to get rid of them.
So what's going to happen when Canada becomes the 52nd state?
52nd. What happened to the 51st?
51st.
We'll salute them just the same.
No, we're going to get Greenland first.
Hey, but Connecticut needs power. I like Ontario. I'll go visit. I would go there gladly. It's a part of our world anyways. But that's a whole different story. I would be thrilled to have you as our part of our family.
Hey, Gary, you know what? You got to get more passionate about these calls, man. You can't, just sit there, man.
It's not that positive, Gary.
It's stuff that's been brewing for 30 years. Now it's finally done. So now we can go tell the world, because it is pretty cool, because we can go cradle to grave and have every part of that being compliant, completely legal and compliant, and the consumer doesn't have to step foot inside the showroom if they choose not to. They can just come and pick up the car. Go ahead. It's all yours, Russell.
I don't even know what the question was.
Your thoughts for the year.
Oh, I already shared all that. I thought, it's going to be an explosive year for us, is what it's going to be. So I got to tell you about something. There's three components I think that are important to fixed operations. On top of all the stuff that all things fixed operations, etc. The first thing is transparency, driving up across the threshold. Okay. We got to have some talking points. And, other than the meet and greet, we have to start with the simple hello and a smile and a handshake and what's their name. And you know what? Say their name back. Even if it's hard to pronounce, just say, did I get that right? I'm really good at that kind of stuff personally. And I usually get it really close, or they straighten me out. They appreciate that. Then you start doing the walk around, blah, blah, blah. You start to build that relationship. Okay. Then they're in the lounge area, right? They're in oil change, rotate, and balance. Okay. It's up on the lift. Video MPI, crucial, crucial. Because customers don't believe that shit. So being able to show them their rotors are scorched and their pads at 2 millimeter, it's not safe, particularly when you see two car seats, child safety seats. Okay. Even if it's not child safety seat, it's not safe. Okay. Then the third component is pricing. Okay. You have 16 non-franchise entities they're driving by to get there because they think they can get it done cheaper. You have to be able to quantify what it is that you're not out of what your own pocket is, but you have to be able to know what the competition's doing, and you have to be able to prove that you're competitive. You don't have to be the lowest. That's ridiculous. You've already built value, but you damn sure don't need to be the highest in every category. Okay. So I think that's a crucial component that people are going to be focusing on is like, and of course, that leads me into this last portion here. It'll be available this Friday to show you. But are you familiar with a company called IntelliCheck?
Yes.
Well, we, as a matter of fact, so Group One is going to sign up for all 153 of their stores because they already have our product. But we have this product called Dare to Compare. And we do live shops from IntelliCheck, right? They do live shops on the 5 or 6 most common, right? Brakes, tires, alignments, batteries, rotations, that kind of stuff. And it'll compare the 3 biggest competitors that are independents closest to you and show you what yours is too. And that's going to be really crucial at gaining that last component of transparency and honesty. And I think that's going to be a big portion. I'm happy to say that we got it figured out. And it's not just with their information. See, they have General Motors nationally. They just signed up Nissan nationally, but nobody knows. Nobody knows how to use it. Nobody knows where that information is. Yet each one of the franchises has that information. Well, we're able to actually deliver it in a video couponing system, etc. It's really remarkable. You got to see it.
Anxious to see that, Russell. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Russell,
Well,
is the camera off of their phone, off of the technician's phone, or where? How are they videoing the inside when they're doing the service?
Well, so they have it depends, but they have through X Time or some other platform, depending on there's so many different people that do it. But the thing is that if your vehicle's on the lift and now you're a service advisor, you're going to the waiting room and you're telling Larry that his rotors are scorched and he needs brake pads because they're not safe. Okay, what's there's going to be hesitancy at first. Well, how much is that? Wait a minute. My brakes seem to be just fine. They don't believe you. They're looking for the door to be cracked because of all their previous experiences. Now you got a video that shows your vehicle on the lift, and your rotors are scorched, man. They got deep indent. They need to be turned.
Yeah.
Gary, to answer your question, they either have a tablet in the shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my
or they're
question.
logged into the app.
All right.
Okay.
Seeing is believing,
Often
Gary.
than not, they have a company device.
Well, see, I think that what you were saying is I'm agreeing with you 1,000% because I would always ask, can I come see the rotors? So now that you have that device and then you give them options, no, I'm looking forward to when that's finished. I think that's a wonderful tool, and their cars are battered and they need the general maintenance, but they're rubbing every nickel together right now. But their cars are tired. They need.
Hey, Gary, and we you know what we haven't discussed too as far as fixed ops, that people are keeping their cars longer than ever. So
14
there's
years.
that much more opportunity in fixed operations.
Absolutely. Service, they're kings. The good ones in my market their list is 2 weeks out. You can't get into those guys, and they're trying their hardest. So the good service facilities are working their butts off.
Hey, does anybody, we're past 8:00. Man, what a great show to come back on. Does anybody have any final thoughts? Because do we appreciate everybody being here.
Well,
myself, and Rhonda.
I'm going to start off the new year with all of you, just like I did ending last year. I know last year seems so long ago. But that is that if no one told you all that you're appreciated and you're loved, let me be the first to tell you Happy New Year and you're appreciated and you're loved. Okay.
And we love
Aw,
you too,
Happy New
Russell.
Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will speak to you
Okay.
all soon.
Have a
Yeah.
good
Everybody have a great week.
Well, hold on.
Oh,
What's tomorrow, Peter?
Tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, you know what? It's been a long day, so I apologize. I
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is I have Sean Armour, Joshua Taylor, and I'm actually waking up my pal in Germany at 3 a.m. to come onto the show. So Robin will be on the show at he's not sleeping tomorrow night. So we are going to talk about NADA, and
Right
how we're
on.
going to talk about it is Robin's never been, Josh has been, but not really participated, and Sean has been and gotten business out of it. So we're going to talk about it on three different levels and three different ways to engage in the show and take the best practices of
Right
everything.
on. Right on.
So
I love it.
that's what we're talking about tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see everybody tomorrow on Peter's show.
Peace
Stay
and love.
healthy. It was great to
Good
see
night,
all of you.
everybody.
Bye.
Take care. Thank you, everyone.
good night. Thank you.
Night.